Okay, well, hi everyone, and thank you very much for watching another episode of the Presenting Champions podcast for Simply Inspired. Liam Hartley back with you, and today I've got a very, very special guest for you guys. I've got the main man, the myth, the legend, the governor himself, Storming Norman Buckland. Obviously, this man needs no introduction from me, but I'll give a quick introduction anyway. Over 40 years of doorman, thousands of street fights, I believe. We'll find out more about that later. Got a book out about his life now as well called The New Governor, Storming Norman Buckland by Anthony Thomas. So you can get a hold of that if you want to know more about the story. And today we're going to be finding out some highlights about the governor's life, not only from the fights and everything like that, but today you're also going to see why this man is loved and respected by so many people everywhere around the country and around the world as well. One of the toughest men alive, one of the toughest men to walk the earth. So Gov, thank you so much for making the time for this today, mate. Like I said before, really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much.
God bless you, sir. It's a privilege to be here today, mate. And I love you all, like, you know what I mean? I've only got nice and positive things to say about people. I'm not a snake, I've never stabbed anyone in the back. I've never really been a bully. It's hard being a governor and not a bully because, you know what I mean? As for taxing people, I've never taxed anyone. Like I've never been educated. Like, so it's been really difficult for me, like, to get by doing the door work all my life and try to be fair with people. Like, you know, all my life I've tried the best to get on and treat people fairly, like, and decent, like. And it's a shame, like, you know, when there's a few people, they tend to provoke me and take liberties with me, like, not so much now. Now I'm older, it's a different thing, and I'm a little bit more wiser now, like, you know what I mean? And I can, I've got my license. I got my license when I was 60 years of age. But I've been working all my life on the door anyway. But now I feel good, like, you know what I mean? And I don't want to lose that license now. It's my weekly income, like. So I'm very careful with people. I try and be polite and fair as I can with them, like, and lovely. And I'd love to say to you, lovely people out there, like, I'm working the doors. I'd still love to see you sometime wherever I'm working, like, it'd be great. I'm doing the football as well, the Dons over Milton Keynes and Northampton, like. And you're not dealing with 10 or 20 people or 100 people, sometimes thousands of people. And they probably look at me and say, oh, then we better do what silly old fucker says. Can you get the door, darling? I've got an old sparring partner just coming in now. He was a professional from Milton Aylesbury. This is Barry Bennett. And I was sparring up with him a few years ago. Say hello, we're on camera. Like, who did you fight?
Everybody. My sparring partners from Ben, Eubanks, everybody.
You even fought the big man. Yeah, the big man. The big man, Bruno.
Yeah, they used to spar with Frank down in Canberra and Canning Town when Terry Lawless was there.
What in Finnegan Brothers you sparred with?
Chris and Kevin.
And you beat the Traveller family. Who's the Traveller now?
The Frankhams.
Frankhams, God bless them. There's respect to them and everything.
They're a good family.
Good family, yeah.
And the sequence.
And we got a coach, Gus. Come in. We got a coach here from Aylesbury Boxing Club. If anyone comes down from Aylesbury, say hello, Gus. This is Gus.
Hello there, everyone.
You all right? Trying you down Aylesbury, and you're a coach down there. England boxing, like the young boys and all that, yeah. Yeah. I used to be down there as well, but I don't know. I'm sort of sticking to the doors now. Like, they got me on the football grounds, but it's lovely. I couldn't work out why I liked it there, like, because there's thousands of fans, like. They always put me with the away fans, like, you know what I mean? And we pay for your jackets, we pay the whole thing, like. So they take the mickey. They're not fighters, they're just having a bit of fun, like, and they do support their team. And now and again, like, you got to go along with them, like, you know, being rude to them ain't really doing no good at all, like. If they take the mickey out of you, go along with them, like, and have, you know, be careful with them, like. Life is short, like, you know what I mean? And some of them are pissed up, like, so what? It doesn't really matter, like. They're people's children, people's cousins, people's sisters, brothers. You know what I mean? They got to go home to their families. Like, they're not in a nightclub where they really want to fight. They just young kids. Like, just treat them like me. I treat them like my own kids. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
love everyone. I do love everyone. I mean, back in the day, I wasn't. I did do debt collecting, but it turned my guts at times because I mean, you'd have families crying like with children and that, where you're taking their stuff away, taxing people. Like I didn't tax people. I never taxed. And bullying, I was never a bully. Like, you know what I mean? I felt like I was a bully when at times when I was debt collecting. Like, but I've always tried to be honest and straight. But it's been difficult because no education. I've been illiterate. Like, you know what I mean? But I've scraped through life. You know what I mean? And I've kept my chin up. Like. And I love everyone that's out there and everyone that's helped me and got me by in life. Total respect to them.
Absolutely.
And people, if I've ever upset anyone, like while I've been working or ever fought anyone and beaten them, I've upset them, I'm sorry, mate. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, guys. I don't go out to upset anyone. I love everyone, like, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's difficult, like, you know what I mean? And if I ever have upset people, please take my heart my hand and I say sorry, like, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you're loved by everyone, Gov. I mean, I know there's times you had to do what you had to do, but I mean, that's life, isn't it, mate? You know what I mean? That's life. But seeing your sparring partner there, I wanted to ask you as well, do you keep in touch with a lot of those guys? Do you keep in touch with the guys you fought or like any of the guys you boxed or sparred with any other guys like that?
Yeah, not so much now. I mean, Matt Legge, I
Yeah.
trained him up in prison, like, you know what I mean? He come in, he was a lovely kid, like. He shouldn't have been in prison, like. And a few of the boys have committed suicide now. My mate Dave Courtney committed suicide the other day, and it's heartbreaking, like. And a few boys in prison what never made it, they're dead now. Like Matt, I begged Matt, like I said, look, Matt, if you want to impress people, and he used to like the gangsters, he likes the old stories, like American gangsters. Like he reminded me, Matt Legg always reminded me of Lucky Luciano. Remember Lucky Luciano, the American gangster?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he had luck with him. Matt had luck with him, and he wasn't all nasty like he. You know what I mean? People could be horrible to him, and he'd be nice back to them. That's what I try to train him like, not to dislike no one. If you always speak highly of everyone or speak nicely of everyone, then people can trust you because you never stab people in the back. You're not a snake, like you're not a grass. You just like I am, Norman, just a normal geezer, like, you know what I mean? And if they can trust you, like, and you don't go ripping the arse out of people, like, it's okay. People like that. They like that. You know what I mean? Matt's done well. Like, everyone loves him on Facebook and YouTube, like, and in Milton Keynes, he's treated like a king, like, you know. And when I helped him out as a kid, I knew he was going to go places. I told him, like, I said, you're going to fight two big people in life to come, you know, in the time to come, and you're going to do well. Like, Barry, be quiet. Fucking hell. My old sparring partner, I might have to get him back in the ring and spar with him. But he's a bit tasty. Like, I might come on stuck with him. And the other one's, shut up, Gus, Brian Woodley, shut up. Let me talk. And it's great. The people I met, like Roy Shaw, they were fantastic. Like Joey Pole's son, he wrote a book and he did knock me a little bit. That's because, and he told me himself, he got the right ump about that. And because he wasn't there and he was part of the governor's belt, he had the right ump about it. But I know in the book he's not me. He might have said a few bad things about me. But the point is, I'm loyal. I'm not a snake. I love him, and he could phone me up tomorrow, and I'd be there for him. I'd be there for nearly everyone, like, you know what I mean? And that's the way it's got to be. Like, we've got one life, and we got to make it the best we can. Like, you know, make it the best we can, and keep our friends, and try and show a little bit of respect to everyone. You know, it's like my family. Like, you know what I mean? I've half Asian, like they're Muslim, and geez, I think we've got every Jews and gypsies, and we got everything. We're a mixed race, like, you know what I mean? So I can never go against anyone or any religion or any country because I'm mixed completely, like, you know, and I love it. I do love it, like, you know what I mean? I love life. And I just want to get on, and I don't want to upset anyone or be rude to anyone. The old gangsters I've met, it's been fantastic. The old man Joey Poe, I loved him. Like Lambrano brothers, the one what died, I loved him to pieces. And the ones who are alive now, you know, they're unplaceable. Like, and there's been in the raves. I was working for Tony Hayter. I was minding for Tony Hayter. We've done the raves all over the country. I used to work up the road from Lenny McLean. I bumped into Lenny a few times. He was a big, tough geezer. He was a big, strong, powerful man, just like Joe Higgins. You know what I mean? And they reminded me because they were the same sort of size. Joe Higgins a lovely bloke. He is a lovely bloke. You know what I mean? But he's had it hard as a kid, like, you know. But I don't think people realise how big he is. He's massive. He's another. Like they're both the same, Lenny McLean and Joe Higgins. I know what's going on with Tyson Fury at the moment, Tyson Fury's dad, but I love and respect all of them. Like I hope they don't fight because I wouldn't like to see anyone get hurt. You know what I mean? And we're old buggers, like we should know better, but they're still very proud and their chins are up, like, and we've got to give it up someday. And I've given it up. I've got a lovely wife now. The last married 5 years. And she's made a change in me, like, you know what I mean? I enjoy life now, you know what I mean? And the last thing I want to do is get out there and get into a fight or upset any families, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, especially the Furies, they're travellers. And I totally love the travellers. And we come from travellers ourselves, like, you know what I mean? Total respect, like. And when they fall out, like, you know what I mean? Even the old man, Tyson Fury's dad, he doesn't mean no harm. He's brought his boys into the boxing game. So Tyson Fury, Jesus Christ, one of the best boxers of all time. He's got the other son there. What a lovely boy. He could be a film star, model, he could. And he's got, then there's another son that's come along, like, you know what I mean? Unbelievable. He put so much into the boxing game, like the travellers now, like, you know what I mean? And there's still a lot more travellers out there, what hopefully will be up and coming, like, you know what I mean? But one thing, like me and the travellers, like, you know what I mean? You come to that bridge where the alcohol's there and the drugs are there and the women are there, like, you got to push that aside, like, you know what I mean? And just go straight for boxing, like, and you can get married and that, like, by all means, like, you know what I mean? But the drugs and the drink, you've got to give them a miss because that's been nearly every boxer's fall down, like, you know what I mean? And a lot of boxers have ended up punch drunk, like, and it's a shame, like, when you see them on the drink. There was one, an old fighter, doorman as well. What was it, Cliff Fields from up the road here? He only lived up the road, Hemel, like. I think he fought Lenny McLean. Yeah, I think he knocked Lenny McLean out twice. And there's another one from up north, Paul Sykes. Now, he was another great boxer, like, you know what I mean? He come out and fought his first 10 fights he won. And he was a great prize fighter. He was a good amateur as well. And they lose it somewhere, like, and it's a shame they end up in the gutter drunk. And it is a shame, like, you know what I mean? So, you know, the best thing is to keep off the drink and to keep off the drugs and try and live life, get a good woman and live life the best they can, like, and tell the stories. You can pass the stories on to other people, like, but the good days and everything, you know what I mean? Yeah, well, I've had some great days. I'll let you talk now, sir.
Oh, not at all, Gav. I'm enjoying listening to your stories 100%. It's amazing the life you've lived. One question I do have to ask about that. I mean, I know you were saying earlier, you know, you've worked the doors all the way through your life. You've come up the hard way. But when you was coming up, when you were growing up, was that ambition to be a fighting champion, to be a boxer and everything, was that always there from when you was very young, or did it come into your mind like at a later age type of thing, you know, before you were the governor?
You know what? In the 70s, I used to like the alley fights, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, he was the man, wasn't he? Ali was the king. But when the Roy Shaw and Lenny McLean fights come on, I don't know, there was something there. There was something what got my heart. And I was boxing and I was doing the doors at the same time, like, you know what I mean? And I was more drawn into them, you know what I mean? The more the Roy Shaw and Lenny McLean's, I don't know why. And the little circle around London, like, I was really drawn to that. But I'd never thought one day I'd be the governor, like, you know what I mean? Because as a child, I was a mummy's boy up to about 7 years of age, like, then I had to go and live with my nan, like, and she'd lived through 2 world wars. She used to tell me about the Boer War. And being she was half gypsy and Jew, like, so she lost most of her family because Hitler, like, in Europe, like, was wiping them out. And it was sad. It was sad. And even some of my uncles and aunties and cousins didn't know where we come from. We were mainly Irish, gypsies and Jews, like, you know what I mean? But she lost the gypsies and Jews because if Hitler would have won the World War, like, he would have wiped all the gypsies and Jews out, like. So names just disappeared, like they did those days years ago, like. And I was always I did like the governor thing. I like letting that, like. Got me up London. There's a squabble a little bit up London, like at Caesar's Palace. There was other teams calling themselves governors, like, you know what I mean? So the idea was to get me in and fight all the boys who were calling themselves governors, like, you know what I mean? And I loved it. I mean, the first fight I had, like, you know, it was with JJ. And I spoke to him before the fight. He said, "You won't jump on my head." I said, "Of course." I said, "But what are you talking about? I mean, you're not going to take the dive, are you?" He said, "Well," I said, "Fuck off," like, and I went and see Joey Pole, young Joey Pole, and Ricky English. I said, "Wait, what's fucking going on here?" I said, "I ain't taking, like, you know what I mean, easy fights. I ain't going to have no one take a dive at me." I called JJ. I said, "Listen, mate, if you take a dive, I will jump over your head, mate." I said, "But if you win," I said, "by all means, jump on my head." And I mean, I was an old man now. I must be nearly 50 years old. But that's the way I wanted it. Like, I didn't want no fixes or anything. Like, no disrespect to a young Joey Pard and Ricky English. We had some great times, and I love him to pieces. I know he had a book out, and he when I phoned him up, he said there's been a lot of shit stirring, and I always found myself, the best thing you can do is silence, golden silence. Like, silence is golden. Like, you know what I mean? If they want to row, let them fight over it. Let them row about it, and just keep back in the background, like. And right at the end, I phoned Joey up. He said, Joey said to me, he said, "Norman, there's been a lot of shit stirring. People have been saying this, people have been saying that." He said, "My head's all over the place," like. And he was upset when I got the belt. He wasn't there. He should have been there. And no disrespect, like, I should have phoned him up and showed him a lot more respect. And I regret it, like, you know what I mean? Because I love him to pieces, and he knows I love him to pieces. Dave Courtney, Lambrano brothers, like, everyone was involved up there, you know what I mean? I had total respect to them, like, you know what I mean? And the great days they give me, like, you know what I mean? And the raves and the doors. I mean, I used to work down the road from Lenny McLean, no, it wasn't Mango Jacks, was it? God, I can't forget the place now. And I used to walk up and I used to see Lenny there. He was a giant of a man, like. And it was great, like. And other places, I'd go over Hemel, like, looking for work, or up London. One place, Wembley, I went into, like, looking for work. And I got a job working for Prince, you know, the big Prince. Is it Golden Rain? Golden Rain? No, not Golden Rain. Purple Rain, isn't it? Golden Rain, that's completely different. Purple Rain. Oh, God, no, please. Back it up, lads. And got a job at Wembley. I was minding for Vic Bellamy. He's getting a book out soon about all the raves and everything. And we used to work the merchandise. We used to look after the merchandise, all the T-shirts and hats and shoes and whatever, scarves and jumpers and that. And I bumped into Len. He wasn't happy. It was his patch. But he didn't say anything to me, but he didn't look happy, like. And I didn't say anything to him, like, because I was working for Prince. He was working for boys from Wembley Arena, like. So I had a pass. I could do what I want, like. But he probably was one of the most intimidating men I've ever seen. A lot of people said he was a bully. He used to scream and shout, but I never saw that side of him. I just saw the nice side. And the other times I bumped into him, I just saw the big. But the point is, he could look at someone and disperse a crowd just with his looks, just like Roy Shaw. He was exactly the same. But I did love Roy Shaw. It was a shame towards the end, his mind was going a little bit like, and there was people taking liberties. And I phoned young Joey Pyle up. Someone's taking right liberties with Roy Shaw, and I said, listen, let me get in the ring with him and give him a good hiding. Like, he said, Norman, that bloke will be gone in 6 months. I wasn't into all that. Yeah, I couldn't kill anyone. I used to run about the 12 or towards the end, and that's when I was 30. That was 20 years on the door, because it really messed my head up, the door work, because you could really take it, especially with the drug dealers. I never dealt drugs, and no disrespect. I know people that deal drugs, and that's their business, and I never interfere with them. I was polite to them, and I was getting some bad backlashes, like, and I used to carry it. And when they used to really piss me off, I used to say, look, I'm only going to tell you once, mate, like, you fuck off, like, or I'll blow your fucking head off, like. And if they'd smile at me, I'd pull the 12 bore out of there, and they'd stop smiling. But that was stupid. I should have never done that. I went to prison, and I was happy to go to prison, because if I never went to prison then, I'd have probably shot someone, probably killed someone, and I don't think I would have forgiven myself for that, and probably killed myself, committed suicide after, like. So I just got caught on time, like, you know what I mean, before I turned really nasty, like. But as a kid, like, I'm a gentle-natured people. I love everyone, like, you know. It's just a shame that going on the bad road, you can turn and change, like, you know. It's a real shame. But now I'm just glad I went to prison, and I didn't seriously hurt anyone. And if I've hurt a few people in the past, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Please forgive me, like, you know. I've seen things. I mean, I was down the block once in Milton Keynes. Was it Woodhill? Yeah, Woodhill. And this fella he was doing my head in, like. And I said, yeah, I was going. And this bloke would carry, hey, shut up. Get him out of here, like. They said, Norman, he's mental like you. I said, who's mental like me? It was fucking, what's his name in prison? What's his name in prison? He should be out by now. Charlie Bronson, yeah. But I've spoken to Charlie Bronson's sister in there, and he sent me a card once, and you know what I mean? I've contacted him a few times, and he's a lovely geezer, like. But just little things like that. And I said, who's Charlie Bronson? And they explained everything. And he was a nice guy, like. They wouldn't let me out and exercise with him. And I said, why not? He said, because you two are fucking mad, like. And it was nice. I kicked off once on the, when I was out on, when you be with your families and you sit down and everything, like, you know what I mean? And I was angry because they were fighting in front of the kids, like, and I got up. And they all sat down, like, and the screws come over to me, like, I thought they were going to throw me out. But they said, we'll see you later. And later on, they come and see me and said, do I want extra visits and that? And they said that was well controlled. I said, no, I didn't want to, you know, the fighting in front of the children and everything, like. So, look, I'll let you talk because I can't shut my mouth.
No, they're amazing stories there, Gav. Amazing stories, and I love it. I love that you're sharing all of this. One of the things that people do want to hear about, obviously, the night that you became the governor, when you actually won the title. I know you talk about this in interviews, you talk about this in your book and everything, but in terms of like what was going through your mind when you got there, because you were saying before how you'd sort of been aiming for that, you'd sort of been drawn into that world and all of this type of thing. When it actually came true, what was actually going through your head in that moment, if you get what I mean, you know, when you had your hand raised?
I was talking to Joey Pyle and Ricky English and the bloke I was fighting, you know what I mean? And I said, listen, you know, I know in the governor thing there's been a few false fights or easy fights. So I said, if I'm fighting, it's got to be proper, like, you know what I mean? I said, I'm not having no fucking stand-up men, like, you know what I mean? And I told the fellow, I said, if you go down, mate, and fuck, he didn't go down, mate. He stood up and took everything for about a minute, like. I had to punch him in the bollocks, like, you know. if you watch the punch, it hits him straight in the bollocks, like. And he couldn't stand up. This is what he said to me after. He said, I couldn't stand up. He said, my bollocks are fucking screaming. You've hurt my bollocks, like. And he wouldn't go down. He was a tough fella, like. He was a tough fella. But on the street, I was used to fighting 3 or 4 people, like. I knew I was old. I was nearly 50. I was overweight. I wasn't the fittest. And I turned it more into a fight than boxing. I wish I'd stood off and boxed and look good. That's what I wanted to do, is look good, like, you know. But I got carried away. I had to knock someone out in the crowd before I fought my man, like, you know. And that got me wound up. And I was swinging punches and everything, like, you know what I mean? But as a child, as a youngster, I was doing the doors and I was still boxing, like, and it was it just stuck out of my mind, Lenny. And my grandfather, Barnet Fair, he was the governor there. And that meant a lot to me. People loved my grandfather, like, you know what I mean? This is nearly 100 years ago, like. And I wanted to be like my grandfather. I just wanted to be like my grandfather. And I thought if I could become a governor, like, I'll be in the same shoes as my grandfather. I'll be able to scream and shout like Lenny McLean and Roy Shaw. But I've always looked at them above me, like, as like God, you know what I mean? As like gods, like I would. But like anyone wants a fighter, I respect. Any, you know, 2 people get in the ring, like, I respect them both when they come out, like the Spartan fights. I'd shake the second man, the man. I don't see there being a loser, like they're 2 winners, like getting just a simple bottle, like, you know what I mean? Bare gloves, like, you know what I mean? And some of the fights, like my belt, the governor belt, is a Stormy Norman belt. What's my belt? That's Spartan. There's no rounds. There's until one man is actually standing, like, and the other one's down. It could go on for about half an hour, or even hours, like. And that was what I was really into. I was into the street fight, although I was novice, like heavyweight ABA champion, and I used to fight for the home county as well, like, you know. I done all right as an amateur, like, as a novice, like, I done all right. Well, I won gold, like. And I used to box for the home county. I should have carried on, but I had to work on the markets as well, because you're getting up 2 o'clock going to Spitfield Market in the morning. You're coming home at about 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you got to get up the boxing club. And I didn't have no fresh clothes. And when I used to sweat, like, I didn't have the next week wearing the same clothes, like they stunk and everything. And it was terrible. I was saying in Bedgrove, my mate here, like, used to be my neighbour in Bedgrove, and it was like a private estate, and I was like I was like, I don't know, partly a tramp, and I don't know, partly a tramp, and the other half was just no education, like a village idiot. I used to feel like a village idiot, you know what I mean? I had the winner in me, yeah. I used to always feel like, say, one day I'll be on top, like, one day I'll be on top. But at the time, like, you're going into, I wore my football boots into school once. I got a pair of football boots, and my brothers, like, they said, you can't wear those knobbly football boots on. And some of the clothes, I used to have to work for weeks and months. And I've got to be honest now, like, turn that down. I've got to be honest now. Not the clothes I used to wear. Like, I used to be off other people's lines, you know what I mean? And I never used to nick them. I was pretty good, but I can't say my brother because he's a mason now. I couldn't say he used to nick them, like. But like my mate Gus over there, one of my best mates. My brother used to go up to his milk bottle, his house, and put a note in there like 5 pints of milk. I scream. He used to do it they caught him at the end, like. And he used to say his dad used to come when the milkman used to go around the house. I haven't had all this. They cottoned on, like. It's my brother. He could write, so he put the little letters in the milk bottles and that. Oh, we had great breakfasts, like. We lived like kings, like, in the morning. And the clothes used to come off other people's lines. And it was, you know what I mean? I had it bad. I did have it bad as a kid, like. But one thing I always done as a kid, I used to have it so bad, it had me in tears at times. But I promised myself I'd never treat anyone the same way I was treated. You know what I mean? I was a village idiot. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I was a tramp. But I promised myself I'd never do that. And that's one thing I've never done. Like, you know what I mean? Even if someone upsets me, like, I still forgive them, like, and I try and get on with them, like, and we're all brothers. It doesn't matter what nationality we are, what religion we are, or what part of the world we are. Let's be honest, we all come from Africa. You know what I mean? We're all the same blood, you know, because we've got different skin colours, like, you know, it doesn't make any difference, like, we're human beings, like. And I think the only thing will bring this world together, if the aliens invaded, like, all the world and the countries would stick together and work together, like. And it's a shame it's got to come to something like that. I
Yeah,
just wish people could love each other a lot more, like, and show respect. I mean, the only thing what really get me going is someone upset my wife or my kids, like, you know what I mean? But I stand on the foot. I go up to the football grounds, like, and you got about 1,000 people singing, "We pay for your coach, we pay for your coach." And another song they sing is, "We do what we want, we do what we want." And I think, oh, that's not that bad. Like, they're just having a bit of fun, like, you know what I mean? And you don't take life too serious. Like, if you take life too serious, like, you know what I mean? A lot of times when you come on stop, God, we've all got only one, any religion, anywhere we live in the world, we all got one God. And sometimes he does help us out, like, you know what I mean? And we just come back from church, but I mean, the other week I was in the mosque, like, my daughter's father-in-law got, you know what I mean? He died, like, so I went. I've never been in a mosque before, like, and you know they cry in church, they cry in the mosque, they cry. We're all brothers, we're all the same, like, you know what I mean? It's a shit. We've all got to get on one side. We all got to work together, like, and I'm sure this world will become beautiful, like, you know what I mean? It's a shame now because this is the best we've had it, like, you know what I mean? We've got to keep it sweet, keep everyone sweet.
yeah. Well, you know, Gav, that's a really powerful message because, especially from your life as well, do you know what I mean? Because you've seen all the violence, you've seen all the ugly side of people, you know, and now you're
Mm.
leaning towards the nice side of people. It's very wise words, actually.
Mm.
You know, it's a good message to get out there.
You've got to
Um,
forgive.
yeah, yeah. And
To
another,
move on, you've got to forgive. You've got to leave it behind and move on, like, yeah.
yeah, it's a good
Him
message.
now, like, he used to bully me as a kid, he did. He's got two bigger brothers as well. He's got a Neville Bennett and a Derek Bennett, like. And what happened? He come over from what country? He come over from Jamaica, yeah, with attitude, like, and his two brothers already lived over here, like. And he come over here, and they used to beat him senseless, like. So he used to come down to boxing club and give us flips around the ear roll. It was great. It's good times, you know what I mean? Boxing as well. My dad had a boxing club down in Aylesbury, like, and everyone was treated the same, no matter what colour, what race. Everyone was treated with respect and love, like, you know what I mean? And people can get in and have a fight and shake hands after, like. The travellers I respect. I love the travellers. It's one way it was dealt with the families. Like, if one family fell out with the other, it'd be the toughest man from their family, fight the toughest one, and straight after, it was buried, like, and left behind, like. So even in fights, it's a sport, like, and they can. It's just when they go on when they're my age and they carry on fighting, that's when your brain, it gives you brain damage. You end up punchy, like, and it's a shame, like. And these boxers, what are taking it too far. You know what I mean? I can't blame them. I mean, Mike Tyson's fighting. He's getting 20 million, and he's fighting a young and like. But I prefer him at the moment, like, because when he wasn't training up for a fight, he was on the blow all the time, and it was embarrassing watching him on TV, like, walking into things and being splurry with his words. But seeing him sharp now, you know. It's great, like, you know what I mean? But he's a one-off, like. He was one of the greatest boxers we ever turned out in the world ever seen, like. And it is an exhibition belt. So if he wants to clear his lungs out and his head, like, and he wants a few exhibition belts, I think he should stick to it, like, you know what I mean? And hopefully get paid millions and millions of pounds.
Yeah, well, that does help for the payday, But no, I get what you mean. I want to get your thoughts on this, Gov, as well, because there'll be a lot of youngins, a lot of young fighters watching this. What do you say the biggest differences are, in your opinion, between some of the fighters today and some of the fighters back in your day? Because there's bound to be some good things, but there's bound to be a few things that they could improve on as well, because it's a different game now.
It's a different game now. I mean, years ago, you didn't want your family starving, and you had to be must like people like me without education. The thing today, kids, you must get an education. If you haven't, I would have been a wealthy man by now if I had an education, right? I mean, when my dad died, he left me a few properties, already owned a few properties, and I kept it together, and I had no education. If I had an education, I would have kept that together and multiplied. And I would have been, I don't know how much money I would have been worth, like, you know what I mean? And it's just education will let me down, like, you know what I mean? Kids can go out now and get a good education, and in this country it's given to you, like, you know what I mean? A lot of countries it's not given to you. Over the Philippines, you've got to pay for it, you know what I mean? A lot of other countries, you've got to pay for it, like. But over the Philippines, they had, who's the fighter they turned out? Pacquiao, like, you know what I mean? He had no experience of boxing. His family never boxed, but he was fed up with being hungry, like, you know what I mean? And years ago, people were hungry, like, and it was an easy way to earn money if you're good with your hands, like. But these days, I would say to the kids, like, get down to a boxing club and give it a go, you know what I mean? But please put your education first, like, education must be first, because without education, we won't be going anywhere. It slowed me down. I could have been a wealthy man now, like, and I'd pray and hope to the youngsters out there, like, please do your best. Please get education. Please put it first. And maybe after that, you put boxing alongside it, you know what I mean? And I see the fights today, like, and I mean, even the AJ the other night, it was the intelligence. It was the intelligence. He just knew where to punch at the right time. And he knew to go for the body punch, he would drop his guard. So that was brains, that was intelligence, what won him that fight, you know what I mean? Years ago, it was more brawn and roughness. But now these boys are getting very intelligent, like, very clever boys. And I think if you're very intelligent, like, and you've got education, it can take you a lot more further in the sport, like. Straight away, you'll get a good manager, like. You'll learn not to waste so much tax, and you won't get mugged off. People won't mug you for money all the time, like, you know. You'll know where to put the money in the bank, and education is, you know, and boxing as well. Like I said, you educate, you box, you know how to be sharp, you know how to use your brain in a fight. Like me, I was mainly brawn, like, you know what I mean. Get in there, and I would throw punches until my opponent would fall down. Like, it was generally body punches. I always used to knock people out with body punches. I don't know, maybe it was a gentle side of me. The headshot, I never used to like headshots so much. But I knew with a body shot, they wouldn't go no more than 3 rounds, like, you know what I mean? And the last few fights I had up in Caesar's Palace, I was old and I was fat. But I knew I could beat anyone I got in the ring with. But anyone they put me in the ring with, like, I was hoping they were going to put me in the ring with someone like Butterbean. Is it Butterbean? And
Yeah.
who's the other one? Like, who's the other bare knuckle fighter? The black fella, really good. What was his name now? He died. He had an heart attack at 40 years of age.
Kimbo. Yeah, Kimbo.
Yeah, I honestly thought I could I'd have a go at Kimlo, like, you know what I mean? But Joey and Ricky, they were fair, like, you know what I mean? Maybe they didn't want to hand the money over and get me those fighters, or maybe they liked me and thought, well, he'd be getting hiding if he got in with those boys, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. But the Governor Bell, I went to enough shows, and anyone in the audience could put their hand up, like, and I'd have to fight them. So I did get in front of thousands of people, and I was there to fight anyone. Like, I think the timing was right. You know what I mean? For me, you know what I mean? I mean, the Lenny McLean, Roy Shaws, the Cliff Fields, and the Paul Sykes, they'd gone by then, like, you know what I mean? And it wasn't long, you know what I mean? I become governor. But I done well. I wouldn't fight now because I couldn't face losing, like, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't want to get beat up. I wouldn't like, it'd be stupid now at 62 years of the age to get in there and get a hiding because of all that hard work I've done. So I'd rather say, like, in the street, in the ring, I've never been beaten. And I've had a lot of fights, especially in the street. I don't know. Someone counted up over 1,000. I don't know what, under 1,000 in the ring. I must have been about 50, like, as a novice, like 50, novice, like heavyweight champion. Home county, I boxed the home county. A lot of things I've done. Like, my brother boxed as well. My brother boxed for England. And we used to have a good coach from up the road there. They used to Holton Camp. He was a Holton man. He was a RAF. What was his name? Oh, mate, what's he called now? Billy Hutchison. He was combined service champion. But Dad used to coach me as well. Like, the Dad was a great coach. But Billy Hutchison, I've got, he's from Aylesbury. Like, he used to go to Wendover. He was in the RAF there, combined service champion. Combined service champion, that's probably bigger than an ABA champion because they box the best all over the world, like. And even now, at nearly 80 years of age, he's still training. We've got total respect for him. In Aylesbury, he's like a god, like. Everyone loves him, like. And I'd like to end up like someone like him, like someone who's respected, like, you know what I mean? And like myself, he'd never run no one down. Like, all he had to say is good things. I think if he didn't like someone, he wouldn't say anything, like, you know what I mean? And that's a good way to be, like, you know. And what I'd like to get out there to the youngsters, education first. Get that education. Then you can pick a sport or you can pick your life, you know what I mean? But without education, like me, you'd be forced into it, like. But I wouldn't take anything back. All the old gangsters I met, like, Jesus Christ, I was away with a few of the old boys as well, like. Unbelievable, like. And you meet them, and it's great. I've never put this self. I've always looked at any fight or any sort of local gangster. I've always looked up to, like. I was never a gangster myself, but I always looked up to them, like. And you learn bits off them. I'm not saying they're angels. Dave, I lost Dave Courtney, like. I loved him to pieces, like. You know what I mean? And, you know, sometimes he was a bad boy, but he wasn't a bad boy to me, like. You know what I mean? He should have been the governor. They put a fight up. Who was a Joey Pole, like. He was kept quiet, but he's got his book out now, so I'll tell you what it was all about. When I got the governor belt, he wasn't there, and he got the ump about it, like. And then they said, would you fight Dave Courtney? And I said, well, I love Dave Courtney. He's a mate of mine, like. And they arranged a fight, and they said Dave Courtney was in a car crash or something, and he pulled out of it, like. He didn't. He didn't want me to take a dive for him, like, you know what I mean? That's the sort of guy he was, Dave. I'm not saying he was innocent. I'm not saying he was always a good bloke. I said, but towards the end, he had a heart there, and he did look after people, like, and he did cry, you know what I mean? I wanted to get into the prisons to help the young YPs out, you know what I mean? As he can come in and say what he's done wrong or anything. I nearly got him there, like, but he said, no, Norman, I've got to stick to the path. But he was changing, like. If only he could have, you know what I mean, changed completely, like. But he liked the image, like, you know. But he wouldn't fight. He wasn't scared of me, but he didn't want to fight me because he knew I'd take a dive. And where I was the governor out in the street, not the governor in the ring, like, you know what I mean? So he wasn't scared of me. He wouldn't let me bow down to him. And I would have taken a dive for him. I've never taken a dive in my life, you know what I mean? And it probably broke my heart, but there's some of the gangsters are good people, like, lovely people out there, you know what I mean? The best people I've ever met in my life. But like I said to Matt, I said, they'll respect you if you're a fighter. But I said to Matt, the education must come first. When he was in prison, he come in like the screws got me. Because he stood about 6'2". He was 17 years old, I think he was. And he was 18 stone and muscle. He was a giant, just like Lenny McLean and Joe Higgins, like, you know what I mean? He was just a giant. And they said, Norman, we got a YP coming. Like, I said, yeah, okay. I said, tell him to stand down there with the rest of the boys. I'll come down and have a talk to him. Like, he said, no, this boy ain't. It was like, what's that called? The Green Mile. Can you remember the film, The Green Mile?
Yeah.
Where they said, we've got a fella in here, boss. Come and see him. Like, they said, no, we'll have a word. They said, he's a big bloke. They said, and he said, what, as big as you? Like, they said, no, he is a big bloke. And I went out there, I looked at Matt, and he was a fucking giant of a man, like, you know, get some gum shields and gloves, like, you know, some head guards. I said, because I'm going to have trouble with this one, like, I said, and it was right. The only two blokes he ever lost to, Matt Legge, was AJ, what done well the other night. Jesus Christ. And he's still like against Tyson Fury. I love them both, so I never take sides. I'd never play one boxer against the other or one fighter against the other. I've got total respect for everyone out there, like, you know what I mean? I know there's wrongings, but I don't, you know, try and keep away from the wrongings, like. And sometimes they can change and become better people, like. That's when I've got time for them. You know what I mean? But it's not worth falling out with people or stitching people or being snaked. You know what I mean? It's not nice because once you know someone's a snake, you can't trust them, like, you know. So it's best just to try and get along with them, like, and look at their past. Like some of these people, like I was in prison with, some of the youngsters, like they're only under 21s, they'd been raped and abused and sexually abused as children, like, and my heart went out for them, like, you know what I mean. And I tried to help them on the YP. They kept me there for 2 years. They put me on there. But some of the boys, there's a lot of bullying, like, and some of the boys are committing suicide, like. And they said, Norman, can you go on the wing, like, you know what I mean, and sort the kids out, like. It was amazing. If you ever interview Matt Legge, he can tell you what I was like. I marched under the wing, like, and I said, right, this is my. Yeah. No. But the only thing I learned in prison is you got to call the screws governors, like, you know what I mean. So that's why now and again Matt Legge calls me Norman Buckland, or just Norman, like, you know what I mean? Or anything like. People call me governor. I don't mind. I love it, like, you know what I mean? I've been called worse names, but you know what I mean? I like mixing with people. I like making people feel special, like, you know what I mean? I socialise with people, like, even on the door, like, I get on with people, like. You got to get on in life. You got to get an education. Your kids get an education. That's the main thing as a parent. You get your kids an education, then they'll pick out what they want, like, you know what I mean? And some are just normal fighters, like, you can't help it, like, you know what I mean? They're just normal fighters, and they'll find themselves down a boxing club, and a lot of them, the best place for them is down a boxing club, because if they don't take the boxing line, they're going to end up in the street fighting, you know? It's like some of these bare knuckle fighters, Spartan. I love Spartan. I used to go up north, like, and it was great. Like, I took my belt up north, the Stormy Norman belt. I think Gary Furby. Yeah, Gary Furby won it up. I think he's with passing it down again. But I got another belt. What's the governor's belt? But it's only a London belt. So one day Joey might ask me to give it out or whatever. Like, that's the London belt. They're two different belts. But I'd like to love and help people, you know what I mean? Anything I can do for anyone, like, I'm a friendly geezer, like, you know what I mean? I don't hit people, I ain't getting the fight, even in the pubs and clubs, like, you know, if you get into a fight, if you run into a fight and they're throwing punches, you're going to get a punch, maybe a kick, maybe a slap now and again, like, you know what I mean? Just ignore it and just carry on, like, because a lot of the times you don't have to hurt people, like, you know what I mean? And I don't want to lose my license because it's crazy how I like going. I've never been to football. I used to go to the football. As a kid, I got brought up over in Spain. I used to go to the ball runs and out in the street. And it used to happen. People used to get killed, like, you know what I mean? And that's something you used to, like. And when I come back to England, I had to work and earn my money even as a child, like. So I never went to football. But now I go to football to keep the calm and everything, and the players and well, all the people that are there, the away team, like, it reminds me of Spain back when the Bulls used to say, "Los Toros in El Pueblo." Los Bulls. Feliciano used to call them Los Bulls. And sometimes they'd have gas canisters on their back, and there'd be flaring fire coming out their horns, like, you know what I mean? Gas pipes. And if that tossed you, like, your pants would be on fire. Like, if you farted as well, it used to blow your arse up. And the fiestas over in Spain were fantastic. So, you know, some of my life was great. I had great memories and everything. But I've only got beautiful things to say to people. Like, obviously, like, if someone upset my wife or kids, you know, I would get angry. Like, I'm only a human being. But I'd like to see people get on. Like, I've suffered my life, but I'm a forgiving man. Like, and I'd never treat anyone the way I was treated. Like, because what treated me the way they treated me. But what are these boys up to? What are you up to, boys? You going? You working tonight? Barry's how old you now, Barry? 61. He's still on the door in Aylesbury. So if you come to Aylesbury, don't come to trouble because Barry's on the door. And you're still coaching, Gus, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying.
Yeah, look, go on, Barry. How many fights do you have, Barry?
And none. You had 100. Pro fight. You had
100. Yeah. Amateurs, yeah.
15.
And the top boys you was fighting, was it the Finnegan brothers?
Yeah.
The Travellers? Frank, you beat Billy Frankham, didn't you? Was it Billy? Bobby. But Bobby was a lovely geezer, wasn't he? He's a lovely, I mean, Bobby Frankham, he was a tough. I used to see him at Caesar's Palace, like. And Matt Legge, he fought Paul Joyce, Matt Legge did. He was a big bare knuckle champion, like. And when he fought Paul Joyce, this is in the ring, boxing, like. I felt sorry for Matt because I got Matt involved in the boxing in the fight game. And Paul Joyce was so big, like, he must have weighed, I don't know, 20 odd stone, 25 stone, about 6'6". And I felt so sorry for Matt, like. I thought I've got him involved with that. But Matt could throw knockout punches. Matt's the only bloke who's ever knocked me down, ever dropped me sparring, like, you know. And unbelievable, like, you know. And my mate there, my mate, I said, careful with my mate, because he's got rheumatism in his legs. So he got in and knocked out on the floor straight away. He broke his tooth, like. And it goes to show you that I mean, Matt used to box, spar with Frank Bruno. He sparred with Danny, who's the big heavyweight? Danny DeJuro. Who else? Danny Williams, Danny Williams. Fury. So I said, where are you going? He said, I'm going up north. I said, who you spar with? He said, Tyson Fury. He said he offered £1,000, like. He said, but I just want to get in there and spar with him. He'd get on a train and just go up north, get off, get a lift to the traveller camp, and go down and spar with Tyson Fury and his brother as well, and a few other travellers, like. But he said that's the hardest bloke he's ever sparred with, like. I think you've got the best coming out of Tyson Fury now. I've never seen him look so hungry before. And if you look in his eyes, there's that glance, there's that twinkle in his eyes, like. He wants it now. He wants it now, like, you know what I mean? He could have done a better job on the bloke who's the big bloke he fought. He could have done a better job on Garno, but you know what I mean? He didn't really take it, you know what I mean? He took it lightly, like, you know. But I think the next fight he'll have, like, you'll see the best of Tyson Fury. I've never seen him look so good. And these gypsies, these travellers can bang a lot harder. And I was just saying, down the boxing club, gentlemen, the travellers could hit harder. Yeah. They used to hit harder than anyone else, like, you know what I mean? It's born down in Ponyfield, down Western Turble. It's in Aylesbury. When I used to work, I used to drop my kids down there. There was Paddy Duran. He used to send his boys up there. I got a 23-foot ring down in the barn down there, like, so the boys used to come up all the time. 24 hours a day to knock on the door and come sparring, like. And Barry used to come down, Gus used to come down. Other travellers from other traveller camps, and total respect for them, like, you know what I mean?
15 rounds for Barry, and then
fucking hell, yeah. And He used to say, Paddy Duran from down the Travellers site, Ponyfield in Western Service, used to say, your kids can come down anytime. I said, Paddy, I've got a week's work here. Like, I've got no one to look after the kids. So the kids would go down there and they'd look after them. They'd be safe down there as well, like, you know. So although we come from Travellers, I've got a lot of respect for the Travellers for helping me out and looking after my kids as children, like, you know what I mean? And I don't think they realise how much I love and respect them. Like, I've got nothing but love and respect for the Travellers, like the Asians as well. My daughter's married into an Asian family, what are absolutely fantastic, like, you know what I mean? Really good. You go, all right, say bye-bye.
Cheers, lads.
There's Barry the champ.
Good to meet you.
Come on, Barry, see your fist.
Hey, look at that.
Shuffle.
Respect, lads. Big respect.
Yeah. Come on. Say hello, mate.
Take care.
Oh, you fucking punched me about here. Get off the work. I'm kissing my wife. Parrot, darling. Get the parrot. Oh no, it's great. I've always got people, always fighters drop past, Matt Legge drop past, Billy Hutchison, and old boxers I ain't seen for a long time, old fighters like. But for me to meet them, even like when I was doing the merchandise, working for Vic Bellamy, yeah, how I don't know, my mate, who's my mate from Ellsbury, like? He worked for Howard Jones. Leroy Dennis.
Oh.
He done 3 world tours with Howard Jones, like, you know what I mean? And I was over the moon, like, he was one of my mates. And then I used to go to the Royal Albert Hall. I didn't realise till the other day, my uncle Billy from Tame, Billy Deasy, he's my uncle. Obviously, I'm a Buckland. But he fought alongside Ronnie Cray and was it Ronnie Cray and Reggie Cray at the Royal Albert Hall when they fought there twice. And I didn't realise my uncle fought in the same bill as them, like. And that meant a lot. I didn't know that till, like, just the other day. I didn't realise, you know what I mean? And that's my Uncle Billy, like. So my dad used to, he was only a little fella, my dad, but he would box. I mean, Timmy Collins, like, was 3 times ABA champion, and he beat him on the street. And then my dad was always on the doors and that, you know what I mean? But my dad was a very nice bloke. He's gentle natured. He couldn't believe it, like, because he was only 5'4". And I used to say, Dad, why do you always knock people out? It's wrong. He said, well, look at them. They're giants compared to me. Like, he said, can't talk to them. I've got to knock them out. And he was with us until 60 odd, like. He was still working at the raves, and everyone in Ellsbury, like, they used to love my dad and that. And that's the way I wanted to be. I did want to be like my grandfather, like, and Lenny McLean and Roy Shaw. But I couldn't be a bully. I couldn't tax people either, like, you know what I mean? And I never half an inch. I never nick people, you know what I mean? I'd never nick anything, like. And I think the last 5 or 10 years of having my wife has got to be the best, because she's a Filipino woman and she's lovely, like, and I do love her. And when I go to bed, I cuddle up to her, like, and I wake up in the morning, cuddle up to her, and it means so much to me, like, love, just finding the right woman, like, you know what I mean? And I believe, like, my mum and my dad, they're in heaven, like, they must have helped me or sent her my way or something, like, you know what I mean? I believe there's a life after death, like, you know what I mean? Heavenly life, like, when people die, I don't think of it being so bad, because we do go on, like, you know what I mean? It's just a surprise where we go and what happens to us. It's, it's something to look forward to. I know death is horrible, but, you know, you got to look on the other side now and again.
Absolutely, yeah. That's an important one, because we're all going to face it one day, And another thing, though, Gav, with terms of like how you've mellowed a bit and you've chilled out, because obviously people know you've had all these street fights, like over 1,000 fights and all this. But I saw when you were on with that Dodge Woodall, you were talking on there about how you can break a fight up now with a lollipop, like you with the birds and that. You were saying you could give them a lollipop, and they start.
Yeah. That's what I do now. Yeah. I let them know straight away, listen, boys, I'm on your side. I'm here to stop the fighting, like, you know what I mean? and they'll find something to argue about. Like, yeah, but you've got your little badge and that. I said, yeah, but I said I didn't get it until I was 60 years old. And it gets them thinking, like, you know what I mean? And I had to put someone on the floor. Yeah, the boys were screaming, he had a knife. He didn't have a knife. But I had to put him on the floor. And I said, look, what's in your pocket? Have you got a knife? And he said, no, no, no. I said, all right. Like, I said, I'm going to let you out, mate. You're not barred or something, like, you know what I mean? I said, you know, the boys did say you had a knife, and I believed them. So please forgive me. Like, I'm sorry. I said, but I'm going to let you up. You're not going to take the punch at me, are you? He said, well, why? What do you mean by that? I said, well, I'm 103 years old now. I said, I'm a granddad. I said, I said, if you hit me, I said, I might die, go to heaven. And I said, you'll go to prison for life, won't you? And he could see the funny side up. I had to pick him up because I put him on the floor so heavy, like he's winded, like, you know what I mean? But I picked him up and held him up, like, you know, and the police come. And I found out he was kicking off, but he didn't have a knife in his pocket, but he was frightening people. But he had his mate there, like, he said, you wouldn't believe it. He said, we're fucking school teachers, like. And when the police come, like, and they took me off their hands, like, took the boys off my hands, like, I said, look, there's been a mix-up here. I said, actually, I was just telling the police that you're school teachers, aren't you? They said, yeah, we're school teachers, like. I said, but you've been naughty, a little bit naughty tonight, ain't you? I said, but I forgive you, like, and the old Bill let them go, and that was it, like, you know what I mean? And the girls, I like to say to the boys, if the girls slap you about or take a swing or a kick or a punch at you, like, we should be able to take it, like, you know what I mean? And I said, one thing we don't want to do is lash out on a girl or a bird, like, and even at anyone, we don't really want to lash out on them, like, you know what I mean? And I find some of the doormen, if they're arguing with someone, I'll come from behind and tap them on the shoulder and just say anything, like, you say, hello, mate, all right. Did you, like, make a conversation? They're trying to talk to the other fella and they're talking to me. And by that time, the boys have either got them out the door or on a different subject, or it's all forgotten about, like. I think it's experience, like. You've got to use your experience, like. Because the last thing you want is people to kick off, and the last thing you want is a fight on your hands, like. I mean, where I was working up, I was there for about 2 years. Where was that, darling? Up the road there. What's it called? Windsor. Is it Windsor? Windsor. What's it called, the club? The Labyrinth. I was up there for about 2 years, and they put me on the dance floor because that's where all the trouble kicked off. So I used to go up there, stand by the DJ, like, and just look a bit menacing, like, and look down on people. And when they'd go to kick off, like, just stare at them, like, and make sure, like, and if a woman come up to me and she'd had a bum pinch, like, I said, who was it? And if they're looking at me, like, I said, go over and tell them I'm your dad. Come up and see me, like. And rather she'd go over to them and they'd run off, like, or she'd go over and say, my dad wants a word, like, and they'd fuck off anyway. There's ways of dealing with things, you know what I mean? In a nightclub, people are going to bump into each other and pinch it, you know what I mean? Especially some of the boys are going to, it's a bit cheeky, like, but the girls don't mind it because they go, my dad wants a word, like, and they look at the boys, they shoot off a bit sharpish, like, you know? You've got a bit of humour, like, and try and be fair with everyone, you know what I mean? It's the way. The other week I was at Northampton, like, I moved right up in the crowd by myself, like, and so someone said, you must be fucking nuts, ain't you, like? I said, no, I'm actually gentle-natured, like, you know what I mean? I said, but you've got to move over, like, because the disabled people have got to get up and down here, like, you know? And I thought, fuck me, I've been a bit too brave for my own fucking socks there, like. But I've got kids to feed, I've got a woman to look after, I've got animals to feed, like, and I don't really want to upset anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone either, like. But it does happen. It does come on top for me at times, like. And if I can get away with giving them a slap around the face, like, or screaming at them and frightening them, I will, like, you know. But I don't want to have to hurt people anymore. I've hurt people all my life, you know what I mean? And although there are a lot of them had it coming to them, like, it's still bad. They go home from a nightclub and they go home to their mum and dad's, like, and they got a black nose or a broken nose, like, and they say what's happening. It doesn't look good for the doorman, like, you know what I mean? Because everyone thinks doorman the bully, like, but in my case, like, it's me what Jenny provoked tonight. It's me what Jenny gets punched up the first, like, you know. But maybe I'm a little bit older now. They seem to be more calmer with me, or maybe I'm just a lot more calmer now. But even in the football, like, you know what I mean? I go up where there's hundreds of footballers and hooligans and fans, like, and I'll try and stand my ground, like, you know what I mean? As long as what they say, the cameras are on you, they're watching you all the time. Just do your job, like, you know. I'll do what I can, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good, like, all the time. Like, I'm getting old, like, you know. I don't want to fall on one of the stands like that because they go down all the flipping little things. They're really fucking. I fall down, I break my back, like, you know. It won't be the punch that knocks me out; it'll be the fall. But I'm loving life. I love the door more now than what I ever have done because I don't let it wind me up. I don't let people wind me up. And I'll try and come out with funny things like and a bit of humour as well, like just to break the atmosphere up. And I'm forgiving, like I do forgive people. And in my past, I've had a terrible past, but I forgive people, like, you know what I mean. And if you want to move on in life, you've got to forgive people, you know. And the wrong people, just keep away from the wrong people. That's all you can do. Education for your kids, like just make sure they get a good education because the next 5 years, the next 10 years, it's going to be incredible. Like, you know, I mean, when I was a kid, there wasn't no phones. Like, you wouldn't think Star Trek was the only. You remember Star Trek? Hello,
Yeah.
Scotty, beam me up and all that. You think how can they have something, a box, and talk to each other? It's impossible. You'd have to walk 5 miles down the road and find a red phone box to talk to. And I remember the Space 1999. I saw them in a car with a phone, using a phone. And I thought, that's stupid. How can they talk to someone on the phone, a cordless phone? But it's all here now. Things what was impossible are here now, like electric cars. All we had back in my day was the milk trolleys, like, and they were electric, like, you know what I mean? The cars, we've come so far in the future now, and even the next 5 or 10 years, we'll see things what we'll think it's impossible, like, you know. We used to have, I used to have, my dad used to have a TV, black and white, with 2 channels, and that was it, like, you know what I mean? These days, like, they've got, Jesus Christ, I don't know, 10-foot TVs with everything on it. Unbelievable, like, the future's coming, like, and I hope, like, the world sorts itself out and sticks together before it falls apart. I'm going to let you talk because I rabbit too much. Sorry.
No, I love it, Go. I mean, this is the thing. I love your stories. I mean, it's an honor to listen to you, and I really mean that. And obviously, I've wanted to talk with you like this for a long time, so it's an absolute pleasure for me. It's no problem at all. I mean, the last couple of things. I mean, there's not loads and loads of other things anyway, because I want to let you get on and spend some time with your wife and all that. So the last couple of things, and then we'll wrap this up. Obviously, you got
that parrot. Well, give me that parrot, darling. Come here. Parrot showing off. Go on, mate. Go on, go on.
Oh,
Go on, go on.
Obviously your book and everything, and obviously these days, you're getting like your books out there, you're getting requests to be on, these type of interviews, and people want to hear your stories. You've got a lot of respect and a lot of love from people. How do you feel about that, mate? The fact that so many people want to meet you, and even you were greeting, you were.
I'm as a child, like I said, I was the kid from the gutter, the illiterate, the village idiot, you know what I mean? And like a tramp.
Yeah.
And like my mates are saying over there, but you didn't give up, like, you know what I mean? I did after the age of 7. I didn't have any parents. I was soft. I even had a teddy bear. Well, a torn up teddy bear when I was under the age of 7. I was quite gentle, like, you know. Then I got brought up by my grandmother, what's lived through 2 world wars. She used to talk about the Boer Wars. She had her children to bring up during the during the war, like the First World War and the Second World War. And one day she couldn't pay her rent, like she said someone stole it, like, so she had to go to prison for it, like. And I forgive everyone, like, and I promised myself I'd never treat it. Here's my daughter. Say hello, Yvonne. Here's a mad dog. Hello.
Hi.
That's
Hello.
a ginger, mate.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Oh,
Say Crystal. Say hello. My wife, Lynette. Got you there?
hello. Hi.
But
Yeah.
But depression is nasty. Everyone gets depressed. And we've got to find a way. You've got to train your mind to keep out of depression. Like, it's a bad patch. And we all go through that. And I've suffered with that a lot of my life, you know what I mean? And it's evil. It's a nasty. It's the work of the devil, like, you know what I mean? You want to get rid of that. It's not invited in your brain, like, it's a hitchhiker trying to get into your head, like, it's the devil. And you want to get it out your head, like, think positive, think good, think nice things, forgive people, like, you know what I mean? And get on with your life, move on, like, you know what I mean? And learn to respect and love people, like, you know what I mean? And I do, I love everyone, like, you know what I mean? And sometimes my wife reads out what they write when they write things to me. And it's the most nicest things I've ever read in my life, you know what I mean? Like she's ever read to me in my life. It's beautiful, like, you know what I mean? And if I can make people happy, I'll do that all day long, like, you know what I mean? If I can sit with a bunch of people or even on stage and talk about the old days and the old gangsters and the old doors and everything like that. I was on the doors first when I was 10 years of age, down the Beg Road Pavilion, like, and full time the Bucks now go when I was 14 years of age. And in between, I was working at the on the markets up Spitfield Market. I see some of the old boys. I forget their names now, but I used to bump into some of the old boys, like, you know what I mean? I mean, even the Craze uncle, I think, had a meat stall there, or and there's some other fighters up there. Like, I used to meet them, but I was too, as a kid, like, I used to look up to them, like, and I used to just listen to them talk and everything, like, and it was great. And especially early in the morning, till 3 o'clock in the morning, they used to all shape up to each other, like, you know what I mean? And it was fantastic. You know, I got about and I met some of these celebrities, and there's some good celebrities, like, you know what I mean, even when I was out in the concert, like, there was I worked for Queen. Um, oh, geez, I can't remember all the groups. There was loads of groups, and I thought, geez, I've come on in life. And I used to keep some of the T-shirts to work them out, wear them into Aylesbury. And they said, "That's a nice T-shirt." I said, "Yeah, I was working for him the other week." Um, the one, oh, what's his name now? Not Howard Jones. The what you used to be a guitarist, one of the best guitarists. I think he nicked one of the Beatles' wives. So his name's totally gone now. He come up to shake my hand once, and Vic Benham said, "Don't shake their hands, like, don't really talk to them. Just acknowledge them, like, you're working, like, you know." And a lot of these, I wish I just shook their hands and give them a cuddle, like. And the same show, the little drummer of, not Genesis, was it Genesis? He was in a film Buster. I can remember he was there, like, you know what I mean? And it was great. You know what I mean? I was in the Times magazine as well when I was minding for Tony Hayter, and I can remember we was at a casino, like, you know what I mean? And we used to let other people sit down around the table, but they always used to put the bets where Tony Hayter used to do his bets. He used to, somehow, this man was so intelligent, like, Tony Hayter come from the Sunrise. He used to run Sunrise as well. He was so intelligent, he could remember the cards, the number of the cards. And somehow the pack played, like, he could focus it, like, and we'd walk out sometimes with 30,000, 40,000 pounds, like, you know what I mean? And I'd have to put it in my shirt, all the money, like. And some of the things I've seen, and I love sharing it with people, like, you know what I mean? I love telling people. But memory is not as good as it used to be, because I'd come out of everyone I work with, like, and everyone I work for. But what I'll have to do, like, when Matey Boy done my book, he would ask me things, like, I'd tell him, like, and I said, "I can't remember it all." Like, I said, "Look, I'll give you my brother's number, or I'll give you some of the boys that were around at the time." And he came back to me and said, "You did knock 5 people out." I said, "Yeah, well, I told you did." He said, "Well, I didn't really believe you, like." He said, "But I phoned a few people up and they told me the time, the dates, and who they were, like." I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's just I said, "You had to do it on the door, like." I said, "Especially sometimes I was the only doorman on the door, like, you know what I mean?" And the point is that they'd be drunk at the end of the night as well. And sometimes some people have trouble walking when they're drunk. You know what I mean? So the spank 5 people weren't too hard. Like they're already falling down anyway. But a lot of the times I used to scream, and my dad used to say, like, because he was so small, when he'd knock someone out, like, he said, "Have you had enough?" And they'd say, "Yeah." "I got it. Everyone, enough." And they'd scream, "Everybody enough." And everyone would be looking at the floor. So they knew my dad had knocked him out, right? You know what I mean? Little things like that. We was working in Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes weren't there. It was only just been built. And we started getting work all over Milton Keynes as well. Like, it was great. It was like a new London, Milton Keynes, then Northampton, then Luton. Where was I last night, darling? Beaconsfield, a place called the Crazy Bear over there last night. And I used to like working to places I've never worked before, like even by myself. I mean, I had to go up one. I had to get a train up there, Southall. No, not Southall, but Soho. And I went into this club, like I said, you've asked me, like. He said, yeah. He said, "You want to come back every week, work here?" Like, I didn't know it was a gay club. I didn't know it was fucking peaceful, wasn't it? Well, I didn't know it was a gay club. And back years ago, like, you know, you weren't too sure, like, but I've not got nothing against gays. If they're gay, like. I mean, even he's a cross-trades. Who's the fighter who's the spar with down the bottom there? The martial artist. Hey? No, the martial artist. What you said. I was in the film Kill a Bitch with. Alex Reed. I loved Alex Reed, one of the nicest people I ever met. And he come down in a spar, like. He come down just one lad, I think he was. And I had all my mates down there, about 30 mates, like, and the travellers and everything, like, you know. And, you know, he come down, he went front. I didn't know he was ex-military. And he come down there, and just after my fight, not long after, he fought for the world title. And he really done well. And I told people, like, I said, don't take his kindness for a weakness, like. And one thing I learned off Alex Reed, to say sir all the time. He used to call me sir. So after being with Alex Reed, I used to call people sir all the time. And some of the people you learn things off, like, especially the old timers as well, like, it's fantastic, like, you know. I've had a shitty life, but I wouldn't turn the clock back, like, even with Joey Parl and Ricky English, like, you know what I mean? This is what they done. They sent Matt Legge over there to see me years ago, like, and they said they're upset because you've moved on, like. I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "You're going up north with Spartan and that." I said, "Well, since the old boy Joey Powell's died," I said, "London's falling apart, like. Young Joey tried to keep it together, like, but he wasn't like his old man, like. God bless them both. Love them both to pieces. I'd never disrespect them, like. I'd be there for young Joey any day, like, you know what I mean? But it was gone. It wasn't the same, like. So I moved up north, started working up north, like, you know. And he said, "Well, they're not happy about it. That's why they've got the ump with you, like, you know." I said, "But I love them. You know what I mean? They could phone me up tomorrow, like, you know what I mean?" They said, I said, "They didn't put me there. I was already the governor on the street before they get the, Roy Shaw give me the governor belt, like, you know what I mean?" I said, "But I love Roy Shaw and I totally respect him." So it was a little bit of atmosphere there, like, but no disrespect, like, maybe I should have gone up north, but I had family to feed, like, I had people to feed. And I used to like exploring, going different places I've never been before. My brother got me a bare knuckle fight over Cork, I think, over an island once. And I loved it going over there. My family actually come from Cork as well, my mum's side. And but that's how my granddad at Barnet Fair used to go. He used to fight anyone. He used to say, "I'm the governor," and anyone put their hands up, he used to get in there and he used to fight them bare knuckle, like, and with the gloves on, like, you know. And my dad used to box for the army, and I was built around that. That's why I could help Matt Legge out and some of the YPs in prison, like, because that's all I knew. But now I've met the wife, and I've learned she's loved me, and it's beautiful. Like, I've never been loved like that before, so it's really softened me out. All I want to do is help people out there, talk to people, and give them the best advice I can give them. Like, although I'm not an educated person, like, you know what I mean? I like to see people blossom. Like, I mean, since Tyson Fury's become the world champion, like, you know what I mean? I know his dad goes on, but total respect to his old man. He's brought out 3 fighters, like his 3 sons, like, and I envy him. Like, I think he's great. I know he's upset Joey Higgins. Is it Joey Higgins? And
Yeah.
I love Joe Higgins as well. Like, he's like another Lenny McLean, like, you know. But I don't want to see them fighting, like, you know what I mean? There's another one what used to spar with Lenny McLean as well. He's got plenty of ball. I've spoken to people, like, he's a tough one as well, like, you know. But we're all getting a little bit old now. Mike Tyson, yeah, if it's an exhibition belt, like, you know what I mean? And because that's keeping him off the drugs, like, it's keeping him nice and straight. So I believe anyone what's going to keep nice and straight and keep away from the liquor and the drugs, like, you know what I mean? They can risk it a little bit more in the fight game, you know. But my heart goes out to the people who don't win as well. It takes 2 people to get in the ring. And I'll prove this with Spartan, like, you know, the bare knuckle fighters. I'll always shake the man I don't say he's lost, like, I say they're both winners, like, you know what I mean? I'll shake the hand with the champion and the other fella as well. Like, I'll show a lot of respect for getting in there. Like, it's so much bottle to get in there, and it's so easy to get seriously hurt as well. Like, it's a sport. It's the toughest sport in the world. It's a lonely man sport. You know what I mean? And it's broken a lot of hearts, and it's upset a lot of people. Like, you know what I mean? But it'd be great. Like the exhibition belts, I like them with Mike Tyson, because they generally ends up in there's no knock. Like, if there's no really knockouts, because it's exhibition. Like, they've got to end on a draw, so no one wins or loses. And those boys, they're earning 30, 40, 50 million pounds. Like, unbelievable. Like, you know. And it's us lot saying, I think he'll win. I think he'll win. And we get wound up and we get all involved in it. Like, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Mike Tyson and the other blokes, they're the real winners. Like, they're the ones that come out with the purses, like, and they're the ones that have gone in there, enjoyed it. They're friends, really. I know they like each other. I know they're friends. I just hope they keep it clean and tidy. The power back as well, just an exhibition belt, and they can go 4 or 5 rounds and they get out feeling good, like, because I'd like to watch that. You know what I mean? They're not like, you know, they're not 60 years old, like, you know what I mean? What can be, you could end up punch drunk, you know what I mean? But I respect the old fighters, all the ones that want to get in the ring now are in their late 50s and 60s. I love them, respect them, like, but I wouldn't want to, you know, really see them get hurt. But Mike Tyson in his day, he could get in the ring and he could duck and dive. You know what I mean? You couldn't punch him; he was too quick.
Yeah.
And even this fight he's got coming up now, all he's got to do is duck and dive. You know what I mean? He's got so much experience. He was one of the best defensive fighters of all time, I thought. He always said that some other fella was the best defensive fighter. But Mike Tyson, I think he was the best because he could get in there, he could duck and dive everything, like, you know what I mean? Unbelievable. Like, I know he got in the trouble a few years ago and he'd done a bit of time, like, but I believe what goes around comes around. Like, he denies it and he says he's innocent. If he is innocent, like, you know what I mean? Maybe he's got a future now, like, you know what I mean? Because if he was guilty, he'd probably buried himself somewhere, like. But it's not down to me. It's down to him and whoever it was involved with. That's their business, like. And, you know, in the next life, it'll all come out. But, you know, I wish everyone the happiness and all the love in the world, like, you know what I mean? Be kind to people, especially animals, like, you know what I mean? You got to look after your family. Like my wife, if someone upset my wife, it upset me, or my kids, like, you know what I mean? But basically on the doors, I'll get abuse down again. Like, I'm man enough to take it, you know what I mean? And the last thing I want to do is hurt anyone. You know what I mean? And I've learned how bullying and being disrespectful and being cruel to people, I've suffered myself, like, and I swore to myself as a child, I'd never treat anyone like that. And I stick to it as well. And I'll stick to it. I do, honestly, mate. You know what I mean? Growing up is, you know what I mean? It can be and it can affect you. Like, especially when I was in prison with the YPs, what been sexually abused and that, like, you know, I used to say to them, you got to put it aside now, push it out of your mind and move on, like, because if you don't push it out of your mind, and horrible things, other horrible things was happened to them as a child, you got to train your mind to go forward, not back. Because if you keep going back, you never move forward, and your life, your future is going to be ruined. And it's the devil what controls the hate and all that fucking. You got to be just think of good things, like positive, like, you know what I mean. Not don't let the devil take it over, like, you know, because I've lost so many mates to suicide, like it's been horrible, like. But hey, maybe we've got great things coming. We don't know. Beautiful things coming. Hey, that's what I'd wish for everyone. All the luck, all the happiness. If I could wrap it all in a present, like in a basket, like, or in a little box, and give it to everyone for Christmas, I would, like, honestly would, like, you know what I mean? Because everyone deserves a good time. You know what I mean? And you, sir, thank you. You've been great. God bless you. I
God
want
bless.
to know a little bit about you. Come on, tell me. How about you?
Well,
Because I can't stop talking.
no,
Good.
honestly, mate, it's been an honor. I mean, about me, well, I'm from Wales originally. At the moment I'm working abroad, so I'm doing this call over from Cyprus. It's nice and
Yeah,
warm here. But yeah, I mean, I started off doing a lot of like interviews, photos, for different newspapers and things like that around a lot of the boxing. So, like you're saying with Tyson Fury, you know, I've met him a couple of times. Great guy. There's a couple of other people you mentioned, and I started doing that. And then when you're around those people, like, you know, looking after people, you realize that they got great stories to tell. But more than
yeah,
stories, like lessons, you know, like what you were saying about forgiveness and everything
yeah.
grown, you know. And I thought, you know, I want to find a way to share that with the world. And I started doing these, you know, when COVID, when the virus happened and everything, I
Yeah.
started doing these, and it's grown really big now. You know, I got people watching all over the world. So I do that, and I do a few things with property as well. I do a few things with marketing online and promoting people's businesses as well. So I do a few
Yeah.
different things. And but yeah, you know, love the fight game, and been around it for a long time. So, you know, getting a guy like yourself on here, it's been an absolute honor. And
Oh,
yeah,
I love it. I love talking. I do. You know what I mean? I
abs-
just wish the best for everyone, like, and happiness, like, you know what I mean?
yeah. And seeing you happy, Gov, as well, you know, seeing you happy with your wife and with your family and your mates coming over. Honestly, I just
I
want,
can't help but cuddle her and kiss her all the time. I do. My
yeah,
wife.
that's a blessing.
Yeah.
That's an absolute blessing. I just want to say from me to you, seeing you happy, you know, with everything you've been through in your life and everything like that.
Mm.
I'm so happy to see that, mate, to be honest. I mean, it's
Thank you, sir.
you're really, really happy because, you know, you deserve it. You've been through all these things. You know, you had the highs, but you've had the lows as well.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
you know, getting to where you are now with just good people around you, solid people, people who've got respect for you, people who love you and all this. I mean, it's heartwarming. I mean, I've been sitting here listening to this and your stories and all the things. It's amazing. But it keeps going through my mind, you know, man, you know, I'm happy that you're happy and you're just enjoying life,
yeah.
living your best life. I really mean that. I really mean that from
You
my.
can, you can. The patience, you know what I mean? You've got to be patient in life, you know. It comes to us all, like, you know what I mean? And sometimes when they look in the past, like, and it destroys their future, you've got to move on, like, you know, not everyone's horrible, like, not everyone's nasty. There's good people out there. And if you stay with the nice people, you know what I mean? Rewards come, like, you know what I mean? Be nice to people. And that's what I always sworn by that. Like, as a child, I swore to myself. I was in tears once. I swore I could never treat anyone the way I've been treated. And I've stuck with it. Like, I've never forgiven it and never forgot it. Like, you know what I mean? Try and be nice. Try and be happy with people. Have them laugh. And even when there's fights and I get in there, like, and try and break it up, like, you know, I end up with a fucking woman's ass. So this is fucking great. I'm holding your handbag here, like, yeah, have a sweet or something. There's always ways around trying to cheer people up, like, you know, just keep people happy, like, a lot of respect, a lot of love. I can only try, like, you know what I mean? And I believe, like, my wife, you know, she didn't just come along, like, you know what I mean? She was an omen of good luck. And I'm happy getting old now and being with her and going to bed and cuddling up to her and waking up in the morning cuddled up to her. She means a lot to me, like, yeah.
That's the
And
life.
the animals, always stuck with animals as well. I've got parrot. I think it's my kids, you know, because I brought all my kids up, 6 kids. I've always loved animals, always had animals. And as they've moved on, like they've got fed up with their animals and let's dump it on dad because he loves animals. I've had their dogs there, turtles, guinea pigs, birds, canaries, flipping parrots, and I'm a dumping ground for animals. I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, it's something I wanted to do today, champ, is show you, first of all, well, there's two things I'm really happy about, yeah? Not just all the fights and everything, but the fact that we showed the governor as you really are, like you got a heart of gold, and we showed the real man behind the reputation, and we got your message out there for the young ones. And those two things with the forgiveness, I'm more happy about that even than all the fight stories, if you get what I mean. And it's
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolute honor. So thank you so much for your time, mate.
God bless you, sir.
Thanks to your wife as well. I could see her there just now. She can hear me. Thank you very much for setting this up. And
You ever around ours, we come in and have a dinner or so with us, yeah? A cup of tea.
I'd
You're
love,
more than welcome, mate, yeah?
I'd
And
love,
thank you to all you beautiful people out there listening to me. Like, I stick to the truth because if I fantasize or talk bollocks, I'll never remember it, like, you know what I mean? So I stick to the truth. I have trouble remembering everything now, names, places, and there's so much more I could tell you, like, but as I'm getting older, memory's going a little bit, like, but I try and do the best I can, like, as long as I keep everyone happy, like, you know what I mean? That's the main thing. And I didn't realise there's beautiful people like you out there as well, and that makes me happy, mate. You're doing a great job, and I hope you all the best in your future, mate, and everything. Your broadcast. I mean, Matt Legg's done brilliant now, like, you know what I mean? I said to him when it was time to retire, like, you know what I mean? I said, listen, I said, my mate said there could be a future with you on in the film world. I said, I don't know what it is like, but it's something with you and a camera and you know what I mean, talking to people like. And I didn't realise it was this broadcast like. And when he got into that, I said, oh, yeah, I've told you about this before, like. And I told him about the 2 heavyweights he was going to fight as well. You know, sometimes there's spirits out there. There's good spirits, and there's look at her, brush me down. Look, unbelievable. You know what? She showers and baths me and everything. Clothes me. Oh, you know what I mean? This is why I'm so happy. Like, she's falling out of heaven, I think.
yeah, you're
And
best man.
sometimes, yeah, this is what I like about Tyson Fury. He's been told, like, obviously in the gypsy world, like, you get the people with tea leaves and everything. My nan used to be into the tea leaves and the things like. She told me one thing what's never happened yet. She said one day you will be wealthy, you will be a millionaire. I'm still waiting for that day, but if I become a millionaire, like, sometimes it's worth an old traveller girl talking to you and giving you the future. He went when he sparred with AJ, when he come down here to spar with AJ, and he said to AJ, I watched the documentary when he was talking to him. He said to AJ, AJ, he said, I will be a world champion one day, but you will be a world champion as well. Like, that's when they started sparring together. Like, AJ was talking about it. And I thought, isn't that amazing? Like, you know what I mean? How the future, how people can tell the future, how it sticks out in their mind and crazy stuff like that. You know what I mean? I
And
just wish happiness, calmness, and no world war to everyone. Like, and if I could wrap everything up in a Christmas present and give it to everyone, I swear to God I would. Like, you know what I mean? I've got all the time for the world. If I could ever help anyone out, anything I can do for anyone, like, you know what I mean? I don't disrespect. I ain't got nothing bad to say about no one. Like, I just wish the world to be happy, like, and get on with people because we're all the same. We all bleed the same. We're all brothers, really, all of us. We're all
absolutely,
brothers and sisters.
yeah,
We've
absolutely,
got to stick together because if we don't, the world, the world will end, won't it?
yeah, absolutely.
We'll go crazy. Yeah,
Great message, Gov. Well, I wish you and your family all the best. God bless you. God bless you.
God
Thank
bless you.
you so much for your time with this. And yeah, next time I'm in your neck of the woods, 100%, I'll be in touch and we'll go from
Yeah,
there. No, thank you so much for your
yeah.
time, honestly, and your wife as well. Thank you.
Oh, to pieces. My parrot's going mad now. I better go. See you later, mate.
See you later. Take care. Thank you. God bless.